Dr. Stone, episode 14. So the episode kicks off right where the last one left off, as we have Senku and Sino finally pinpointing where exactly the petrification beam started, and it was somewhere in the northern Amazonian forest. And as per usual, Risui gave his speech about how he wants everything, and that includes the petrification beam secrets. So safe to say that Rusu is gonna try to monopolize that as well. So gotta love capitalist uh, Rusui. Uh, but yeah, they get to talking, and they still have a lot to consider. The fact that moving through the forest is gonna be quite difficult, or how they're gonna approach getting there is gonna have to depend on how fast they can evade uh, Stanley, because Stanley is right up their tail, and he does have their ship, which is ironically probably a better equipped ship than the one they currently have, and doesn't need to stop as much to refuel, or because they come from the Americas where they have fuel. They don't need it. They can use it more repetitively, and they don't have to make a lot of stuff, which that's one of Sen- Senku's current situations where they do have to make a lot of stops and kind of chop up wood and get supplies. All this takes time, and eventually it's going to lead to them having Stanley on their tail, because they at one point they eventually going to be caught up as they're preparing to leave. So yeah, and I like that Stanley is fully aware of this too. Yeah, they don't have the resources we do. We have the fuel. We have They literally have to keep making stops. So eventually we will uh catch up to them, and I love that because of this. Everybody has to put in effort if they want to keep going. Everybody's just chopping wood. Of course, Taiju is the one that's doing the absolute most, working the most, as he has the most stamina, and he is just like a workhorse. He doesn't get tired, which is insane. But because he is still human, people do, the group is kind of talking listen, Senku, we know Taiju has almost unlimited stamina, but don't you think he should still need to come and eat with us and have a chat with us? And Senku's like, yeah, you know what, it is time. You guys can take him some food. So as they're taking him food, they come and realize that there's this whole light of that says hell, which is lighting up in a kite, and they follow it, and they discover there's a base, and somebody is there, which is probably one of the main focus of this episode, which is Chelsea. She has been living there. She's been trying to she gathered the supplies and made kites so that she can kind of put out a signal that she needs she needs help in rescuing, because she is kind of deep in the forest, and Suka notices that she's squinting her eyes a lot. So she also has low vision and requires glasses, which Senku and the rest of the people kind of okay, well, we got that, simple and easy. They've already discovered the way to do it. They have the materials to be able to acquire her certain glasses. And funny enough, Chelsea is very uh keen, or she's very connected, as she knows Seno of all people also. And one of the things that Seno does point out is that she is a genius when it comes to geography, and that she even has a doctor's in it, and that if there's any way that they could escape Stanley, it would be due to her help. And of course, she realizes that she has a lot of skills that are very valuable to them, and she decides to help out their cause, as they tell her everything about a Y Man and how trying to go they're on this whole journey around the world to get materials so that they can eventually try to fly to the moon. And she's just moved by it a lot, that she doesn't even think twice about joining them. even though Senno at one point was trying to like get her on his side of everybody, and it's like, yeah, no, I think I'll have much more fun with Senku because this is more of an adventure. But we do find out how she gets stuck where she is in her current predicament, and she was actually with Senno when everything went down with the petrification beam, and after it all went down, of course, she lost her glasses, but most importantly, she was told to like head a certain way, uh, and because she couldn't read as well, she ended up heading the opposite direction, and that's why she didn't meet up with Senno and the rest of the group that she was at, and it's just really interesting to how like this one choice that Chelsea made affected how she would eventually play a role in everything, and just it could have been so much worse had she actually been able to go with Seno, and now Senku and the rest of the people had to rely on like Senku and his knowledge, but not necessarily the knowledge of a professional geographer. But yeah, so at one point they decide, well, we kind of have to give Stanley the slip. We should probably, thanks to her, they made a realization that they need to go through the forest, and in order to acquire that, they need to acquire rubber, because rubber is essential for making tires, for essentially a lot of things. And with the rubber, that we're planning on making an all-purpose vehicle to go through the forest, which really interesting, really amazing. Just we're slowly developing higher and higher technology, which is awesome. And Suika kind of like realizes a lot of things while talking with Chelsea, and having her talk with the group, having the group dynamic kind of shift a bit, where Suka is like, wow, she is so much like she is kind of like the whole opposite of me, where she's more upbeat, she's more adventurous, and less prone to be scared. Where she feels a bit of a threat. Maybe she feels like Chelsea's gonna replace her, and also Chrome kind of notices, well, if you're an adventurer and explorer, you're gonna be my rival, which really interesting. Chrome is kind of like taking tidbits of everybody, like Senko with science, and now Chelsea kind of is like the whole package of exploring and stuff. So yeah, Chrome's just like a really good all around kind of type of guy, because he does know a lot of things. He just doesn't specifically have an insane strain on one. So he's like a jack of all trades. And now that they're kind of like getting acquainted and everything's happening, uh they realize there's a big they have a big issue, that Stanley's using the radar to kind of pinpoint their location, and it's getting very near, and he knows exactly where they are now, and it's gonna just make full throttle towards there. And they come to they start thinking of ways to what they're gonna do now. And one of the things I remember is the kites that Chelsea had, and they started using those as sailing as as sails, and it just makes them speed up a whole lot, which is so much. Even Stanley and their group kind of realized they're going a lot faster than usual, like 10 times faster than, or like two times, definitely like two times faster than usual. So like some people think they're using a lot of fuel, but then Stanley's like, nah, that wouldn't make sense. And plus Senku's with them, so he wouldn't want to use up their fuel be wasteful with their fuel and stuff. So Stanley realizes, oh, they probably found some sails, which is really smart of them. And because the winds there are like will propel them a lot better. So the group makes a nice room of separation between them, and it's just so good. Like we have new character finally joining, and we have this dread of potential danger with Stanley just right up behind our tails. this season is just so good. I'm so much looking forward to every week, getting to see it, getting to talk about it. Uh, this episode was like a 8 out of 10 for me.